Don't these three philosophies sound Jewish, right? Hermeticism, Gnosticism, and Platonism. Who wants one race, one religion, etc.? And what do these three claimed philosophies push and ignore? Who made these ideas become relevant in the 1400s? Medici, or Medici, however you pronounce it, who could be called a Rothschild of his time. Also note there is zero proof Plato was real. Hermes Trismegistus was actually not real, and most of the so-called Gnostic writers were unknown or their works were not discovered until recent times. How convenient. However, the Bible is all about race, but not the race who claims ownership of the name in modern times. So if the Bible is understood in its correct context, then Platonism, Hermeticism, and Gnosticism are all antichrist and anti-white. And therefore, we know who the real authors of these three philosophies probably are. Right? If you follow the train of thought throughout history, then you can link together the conspiracy. And of course, the history of the world and the conspiracy are anchored on the racial aspect. Hence why the Jews want everyone mixed and everyone who is not mixed or mixed, not to recognize race. So it says there, the digital Jew says Hermeticism, Gnosticism, and Platonism were generally universalist and inclusive, right? Especially in terms of race, ethnicity, and often gender and social class, right? And the Bible is absolutely not inclusive. It is very exclusive. It is about the white Israelite race, and that is it. It is the white race's history and genealogy. So, but those who are not part of that, right, like the Jews who would be excluded, don't want people to understand that. So then they create all of these diversion philosophies, these mental philosophies, which I talked about in another video, to distract from the truth and to water down and confuse the word of God. So, so it says Hermeticism, race, ethnicity is irrelevant to the Hermetic worldview when race is everything to the worldview, to the history, to what's happening in the world. Cannot be ignored. So, um, it says the soul is the true self and whatever that means. But, I mean, I don't know for sure who does and doesn't have a soul or what type of soul or whatever, but only Adam had the breath of God breathed into him, and Adam was white. So, you know, think about that and figure it out for yourself, I guess. But um, Gnosticism, it says race, ethnicity, again, irrelevant, right? So Gnosticism, which people claim is somehow linked to Christianity, is completely antichrist. Literally has nothing to do with what the Bible actually says. They just cut and paste a few things, distort some stuff, and then add a whole bunch of crap that isn't true. Um, and then I don't know why Platonism isn't included here, but it's essentially the same thing. Maybe I cut that out by accident. Anyway, um, so you can pause and read the rest. But it does say on the bottom there, yes, Hermeticism, Gnosticism, and Platonism are inclusively universalist when it comes to race. So they place the emphasis on the inner essence of a person, not on their outer form. But see, that's a cop out. That's Jew confusion and Jew deception right there. What the digital Jew just said. The outer form is just the I don't know what you want to call it, the physical aspect of what makes us different. But what makes us different is what's inside of all of us. We are not all the same. It is completely and utterly retarded to claim that all races are the same. That's like saying all animals are the same. They're not. I mean, they may all be animals, but they're not the same in any way, shape, or form. All animals, just as all races, have different natures about them, different morals, values. Their entire mentality is different. And it's just the way it is. People have known that literally forever until like the last 50 to 100 years when the Jews basically got, total control over academia and stuff like that. So, um, anyway, yeah, so moving on from here, it says Hermeticism, Gnosticism, and Platonism oppose the idea of a chosen people based on bloodline or race, and that is the basis of the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, because it's all one book, one story about one race, not the Jews, but the white race. So those three offer a different worldview where spiritual capacity, not genealogy, is the key to divine connection. So again, that's literally Antichrist. I mean, that's completely opposite what the Bible states. So, um, and genealogy or race is connected to whatever race the different people's spiritual capacity. Some races have more than others. So, I mean, all you do need to do is go look around the world and observe what happens and how certain races act and what they do, what they can't do. So, um, yeah. And then, oh yeah, so and then these three philosophies I mentioned, in my opinion, were created by Jews to mislead. And again, that may sound crazy, but it's not like this Jewish conspiracy just began 100 years ago, or 200, or 500, or 1,000. It's been going on since literally the beginning of time. So Satan and his Jews have literally had thousands of years to lie and deceive the people. So I'm sure it's obviously been gone on well before these philosophies or ideas were even created by them and then inserted into the narrative. So, but anyway, just because the Jews themselves were or are racially aware does not mean they want others to be racially aware. So they create these fraudulent philosophies and other ideas to mislead whites, white Christians, and others, right, other races as well, pure races, um, because they want everybody to mix. So they want that one race. And they tell you that that's totally fine because it's only about what's inside of you. So the NSDAP even mentioned this idea in a few articles, right? That the Jews hid their knowledge of race from everybody else, right? The idea that the Jew has always been aware of race but hid, confused the idea of race from whites, etc. So, and they were pointing out, they were focusing more on the last 300 years because that's when the NSDAP figured that the Jews had completely taken over Europe and essentially the world at that point, via Freemasonry, marrying into the royals, creating and dominating all the banks, monopolizing industry, controlling the money, taking over academia, through the Enlightenment, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's a million different things, but those were all core ideas that they said that the Jews or proved that the Jews basically dominated this world, which means Satan dominated this world. So, or dominates this world because nothing, it's actually gotten worse, right? Once the Germans lost. So, anyway, going off on a tangent here. So, but that's all I have here. And yeah, I just wanted to point this out.